Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Hopefully you had a lovely Christmas and nice New Year. So happy New Year to you all. We had quite a relaxing time. We did a few little bits, potted around the place and done a few bits, but we also relaxed as well. But back to work now. So as you can see, I'm trying to lighten these beams here. You might not notice it on camera so much because they're still a bit wet. Once they've dried out, they lighten. But hopefully there's a bit of a comparison if you can see it. And the reason I've started over here is because Susie's anxious to get some paint on this part here. If you remember, we bought that paint on day before New Year's Eve. So there's a bit of work to be done before we can paint this, but I might be able to get a little patch painted today just to test the colour out. Right, so that's basically why I'm doing this end of these beams, to try and get the dirty stuff out of the way. So I've got to go do this underneath and this side, and then I'm fairly clear. The other thing I'm going to have to look at is this is wood here, but it seems to be very light in comparison. So I may at some point have to stain this to try and match these beams here, but I'll worry about that another time. So yes, I'm aiming to try and, well, get at least a test patch on here so we can see what the colour looks like. Right, so I'm going to get on with that. Well, they've not come up too bad. As I said, they'll lighten as they dry. And one issue I'm going to have, as I said when I did the others on the other side, there's quite a lot of white plaster or paint or both in here, which presumably is when they've plastered or painted these. They haven't been too careful. So I'm going to have to come up with a solution there, maybe a little chisel, maybe a little Dremel. And the most stubborn bits, I'll just have to get some brown paint or something and just dot it on them. But anyway, I can sort that out. But yeah, they're coming up all right. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is clean up the brushes and whatever, and then look to get a coat of paint on. But in the meantime, we've, like I said earlier, we've potted around a little bit the last few days, and we haven't picked up the camera, but we did film something on New Year's Eve, and we had to make a last-minute trip to Troyes for something, and we couldn't quite believe what we were seeing, so I'll put that on the screen now.
Well, we've just come into action to get a replacement light bulb, and we've just noticed all the Easter stuff's out already, and it's New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so there you go. New Year's Eve 2024, they've got all the Easter stuff out already, so commercial pressures, I suppose. Anyway, I'll get cleaned up and get a coat of paint on. Okay, you might have to hold your nerve here, so think peacock. I like that. I like that. Of course, that's only the first coat, so I'll let that dry and put another coat on. It won't take long to dry, but I like that. That's going to look nice. So just before the new year, I was in the attic sorting out, trying to sort out whether I had complete beds or not. And I had two pieces rather similar to this, and I'd completely forgotten that I had these two around the corner. So I'm assuming these go with those other two pieces, and therefore I can make up a complete bed. But I don't know until I put it together. But it's not a job for now. That was whilst we were potting around over Christmas. I've got a lot of work to do in the meantime. But yeah, I completely forgot that these were here. So, so hopefully we've got a couple more beds. Not that we need them at the moment, but they're always useful as we develop the place. It's a bit dark up here. I didn't bring the light, but I've also got these two, which I presume are beds of some sort. Possibly. It's broken off. So yes, I've got these as well. So there's still quite a lot to sort out up here. Okay, let's go for the second coat. I think 2 is probably enough for a tester. I'll probably do 3 when I actually put it all on. But like I said, we're a little bit away from that. It's a nice sort of teal colour, you know, that sort of turquoisey blue, greeny blue colour. I could almost sort of preempt the comments, or 1 or 2 comments. Most, I'm sure, will like it, but there's always going to be 1 or 2 that don't, which is absolutely fine. Not everybody has to like it, but it doesn't mean we're wrong to put it on. And I suppose the other comment, which I suspect will happen, is about the history and whether it's historically accurate or not. But that doesn't actually matter. You know, we're not trying to live in a museum, and we're trying to respect the building and all its features, etc., which is why, you know, I spent quite a lot of time stripping the paint off this mantelpiece, and, you know, why I'm going to strip this off. But it doesn't mean you're tied to historical colours, and I think it's nice to be a little bit bold, and I'm liking that. But of course, my opinion doesn't really count either. It's what Susie likes, and I'm sure she's going to like that. So what I'm trying to do is just darken these 4 pieces up to blend in with this. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, but I didn't like it really light, and I did try a little bit of oil on one corner there, and it didn't really bring it up, so I've put a stain on there. I've got a variety of stains, but I haven't got this, which I think is chestnut. So what I've done is I've put an antique pine on there, which I know may sound a bit odd trying to match chestnut, but basically the secret is get it in there, get it into the grain, and then rub it off with various things. I've got like a rough pad here, I've got a scouring pad, and I've got some sanding paper. And that way it just blends in and brings up the natural wood as well. So these two are looking pretty good. They're still wet, and I have rubbed them down. But when they're really dry, I'll rub them down a bit more. And so basically the secret is just try and remove as much as you can, and then it'll lighten. And that's what I'm hoping to achieve, and I'm pretty happy with these two thus far. I'm going to use some sanding paper actually. Okay, that's not looking too bad. Yeah, so we've taken the decorations down as you do, and it always feels, I don't know, quite sad really, because, you know, it's nice and bright and cheerful, isn't it? Christmas decorations, but they come down, it's like, But anyway, they're down, and Susie loves this. She came in and had a quick look. She does send her apologies, but she's not feeling too good at the moment. We've been trying to avoid gatherings where possible because there's been quite a lot of bugs going around. And with Susie's immune system, we have to do our best to avoid it. But we did go to a gathering a few days ago, and she's now in bed. She's got a bug, and she's shivering and got a cold and all that sort of thing. But she's fine. She's in bed with a hot water bottle, a ginger and lemon tea, and 5 dogs. So she's not too unhappy. But anyway, she'll be back in fighting form in the next day or two. I'm going to carry on with this. So that's it really. We'll call it a day. But if you could just hit that subscribe button. We didn't quite hit the 9,000, but we're tantalisingly short. We need about another 40, I think. So if you could help us to get to 9,000 subscribers, it would be fantastic. And thank you to all our supporters, Buy Me Coffees, patrons, and so on and so forth. Right, I'm going to get on, and we'll see you next time. Bye.